You Can Play is something that our family founded a few years ago in honor of my late brother, Brendan. Brendan was a student manager at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. Was the first person associated with the National Hockey League to come out as openly gay. He passed away in a car accident a couple months after he came out very publicly. And in his honor, You Can Play was founded to fight against homophobia in sports. I think that You Can Play is a really wonderful example of the power of sports, because the fact that we have to exist is asinine. Our message is simply be nice to gay people. That shouldn't be news, that shouldn't be impressive. But when Dion Phaneuf says it, it carries a lot of weight. We do a lot of work with our wonderful partners at the professional level, the CFL, AHL, NHL, WWE. I'm going to forget some, Jill, and you're going to yell at me later. But Canadian Olympic Committee as well is a wonderful partner of ours, where we take professional athletes or elite Olympic athletes and engage with them on LGBT issues. We've seen a lot of progress at the professional sports level, but the thing that I'm most proud of is the trickle-down effect it has for youth. So we've found that if you do school surveys in the US about bullying in high schools, LGBT kids are 4 or 5 times more likely to drop out of school than their straight counterparts. Their suicide and attempted suicide rate is about triple. And 60 to 70% of homophobic bullying in high schools happens in a sports-related facility. It happens in a field, in a gym, in a locker room, in the stands. So when we talk about this issue, it's important that athletes feel safe to come out at every level. It's important that if there is a gay player on the Toronto Maple Leafs, he knows that he would be supported by his teammates and could live his life openly and freely. But to me, the most important thing that we're doing is helping LGBT youth. If we keep one kid in sports, then we've done our job. But more importantly, I truly believe that the efforts we're putting in at the high school level are keeping kids alive. That if you fix sports, you fix homophobic bullying at the high school level. So even though I don't think we should have to exist, I think it's sad that we do exist and that people need to hear this message. I think it's a great example of the power of sports. And when we launched, we had 12 NHL players in our first commercial. And it was front page news. And a lot of LGBT youth around North America got to see that and think to themselves, wow, if I came out, Dion Phaneuf would have my back, or Henrik Lundqvist, or whoever it might be who was in that commercial, Claude Giroux, Joffrey Lupul. We've had athletes march in pride parades with us in many different cities now, and it's really having a great trickle-down effect. So I think the biggest thing that sports can do is try to open up avenues to participation in sports, to whether it's as a player, as a fan, whatever it might be. The best community outreach we do is when we open our doors and really engage with communities. And one of the things that everyone here is talking about is when you kind of reach out to a community, the benefits it can have. We see a real difference between marketing at somebody and engaging with that community. I think a great example is how sports markets to women currently. There's a difference between slapping a pink logo on something and saying, look what we do for women, and actually engaging with, hiring women, promoting women, making women visible on the operations side of things, on the business side of things, whatever it might be. And one of those is marketing at somebody, and the other is engaging with that community. And we try to do a lot of that with the LGBT community. We're not just marketing at you. We're not just slapping a rainbow on a CFL jersey. The CFL is sending players to LGBT youth groups, that they're going around to different cities and sending CFL players, professional athletes, to a group home for LGBT youth and connecting with them. And that's the real difference between something that's surface level. I think you described it as a ribbon cutting level, where you're just kind of showing up and then walking out, and engaging in the community. And we take a lot of pride in trying to engage and having our partners, whether it's CFL, NHL, Canadian Olympic Committee, really engaging in the LGBT community.